Okay, so we are live. What are your excerpts for the Be All You Can Be book from John C. Maxwell?
Okay, so the first is that if you want to stretch ourselves in order to achieve the full potentials, our God given potentials instilled in us, we have to see beyond our present circumstance. So we have to push through to the dream that the Lord has given unto us. The book mentions that the Lord gives us vision, or a human being with vision obviously will have a purpose. Because if you have something you're working towards, that even sets as a sort of motivation for you to push in life to achieve that vision. So that is so if you want to achieve a vision or the purpose God has placed on your heart, you have to make sure that you see beyond your present circumstance. So just know that the future will be bright if you're able to achieve that vision that the Lord has given unto you. So the book made mention of the Apostle Paul. That is the encounter he had with the Lord when he was on his way to Damascus to capture the Christians there. So that vision that he had, that encounter, stopped him from moving on the wrong track. It brought him back to the correct purpose, the correct plans the Lord had for him. So the book mentioned that that vision, if we continue to read the Bible, to study the life of Apostle Paul, realize that that vision drove him throughout the course of his life. To the point that even when the prophet Agabus told him that he had seen a vision that if he goes to Rome, he'll be captured, he still went because he knew that it was his purpose to send the gospel even to Rome. So in his heart, he decided to follow that vision. He went there and truly, he was put in chains. But that didn't dishearten him. He was still writing letters in prison. Paul's zeal for his vision kept him going. So the writer is saying that if we have a vision that we are following through to achieve, that's even a sort of motivation for us. So one thing I learned from this is that as a human being, I need to make sure that for everything that I'm doing, it is geared towards a particular vision. I have a purpose for my life. God knows it. And if I want to know, if you want to know your purpose, you can ask him and he will give you that direction. He will make it clear to you. Another personality that I looked up or I remembered after listening to what he said about Paul was our Lord Jesus Christ. Now, there's somewhere in the Bible where it states that he went to a city to preach, and the people in that city wanted to make him king. It
Mhm.
is true that he is the King of kings and the Lord of lords, but if he had accepted to be king of that small community, he would have missed that bigger chance that he had later. It says in the word that he escaped them, like he ran for his life to prevent them from catching him. So one thing I also take from that we have to stay focused. We have that vision that we are pushing towards. We have to make sure our eyes are on that and our priority is distracted. Because if Christ had been distracted, we wouldn't all have been here. Another thing is on to when he was about to die, when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane praying. To die, that is your purpose, is to die for mankind. Lord of all, he was being
I think the line is cutting out.
so this is just an of God for our life because we are here to fulfill His will and His will alone. Then one last thing that I will add is that in chapter 3, in the beginning part of the chapter, it mentions that the reason why some people are unable to stretch is that they don't have enough people motivating them. Then stretching makes you vulnerable. So when all these things were mentioned, the author made it clear to us that as much as we need motivation, we need people to acknowledge our little efforts. We also have to be agents of change in other people's lives. So we also have to motivate people in the little that they do. We have to show appreciation for the little that people do. We have to tell people when they do something little something that we think is even little, we have to appreciate them, make them know that what they did is important and is relevant to society. And
Mhm.
we have to assure them constantly that it is okay to be doing something that no one else is doing. Because in the end, when you achieve that greater good, you affect a lot of lives. You have to encourage people to try out new things, to come out of their comfort zone, to achieve the best that the Lord has for them. So this is where I'll end my submission. Thank you.
I think for today, you didn't talk long, which is really good. But
Yeah,
all what do you say?
we give glory to God.
Oh, definitely. But like, I think you mentioned that as you find motivation for yourself, like you also have to motivate others. And that's
Yeah,
one trait of humanity, that sometimes like what you wish to have for yourself, you also have to give it. So when you give, like you receive, like give good measure, press down. So sometimes like, okay, if I'm expecting respect, I have to also be giving it to others. You can decide to motivate yourself, but sometimes when you surround yourself with people who are not motivated also, like they can all drain you down. They can all like bring you down. So as you
yeah,
motivate yourself, I think that it's a wise thing for John C. Maxwell to say you also have to motivate people around you. If let's say Joseph um got promoted and did not bring his brothers along, like maybe they could have dragged him back, because maybe even as he's in the palace, he'll be yearning to see his father, wanting to go back to his hometown. It's like people travel outside, right? People go to Canada, people go to the US, and some are always yearning to go back home. It's not bad, but you also have to learn to pull the people. Okay, I'll not make any wrong analogy. People are watching me. This is online. But
yeah.
learn to motivate others to. And also, I think mine, except from the book, I think what I wrote down from Be All You Can Be. So please, if you are not part of the book reading session yet, get the book Be All You Can Be by John C. Maxwell. And next week's discussion will be on chapter 5 and 6. We do 2 chapters every week. So mine except is briefly saying we are not effective unless stretched. I think personally, and you know me, I like comfort. I don't like comfort. I love it. So if it's up to everybody staying in their rooms and getting paid, please, like put the goals somewhere. I'm just in. I like it. Like I like the soft life. I like the how do you say it? Housewife. I mean, but
Ah,
housewife to a rich man, not like
Odogu silence.
God bless you. You know, so like just all I'm trying to say, I mean, the light, I mean, on the serious side of it is that like most of us like our comfort. We love our comfort zone. But it says we are not effective unless stretched. So sometimes, even as a Christian, like when we read a lot of things from the Bible, and Peter's shadow did this, and Paul did that, and the apostles, like we always, I don't know why we always going like backwards to what others did. Like up to now, there should be a God of Ruby, or God of RG, or God of Joanna, but we're always like up to now, like so many years, we are still saying God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob. We want the God of the reason why. And I feel like sometimes it's because as individuals, we've not stretched ourselves in the Christian world. Like, I'm not saying that, let's say, fasting is the main way to be a super, like, get deeper into God. But fasting is also like a means of sacrifice. And you can, like, let's say the average believer might maybe only be fasting when it's like time for church fast, like group fasting. Maybe might not have like a personal, consistent, a specific time, prayer time, or if they're not able to meet that time, like find other times, or even the average believer might not be even be hearing from God. Like there's some people might be watching right now, they feel like hearing from God is like supernatural, supernatural, right? But like there are a lot of things. I think the other book we learned, like how to follow the plans and pursuits of God.
Very
Some
purpose.
plans and purpose. Like we should be able to know things. We should be able to know that, oh, this one is God's will, this one is not. But we have not stretched ourselves to that point. Like we're just okay when we go to church on Sunday and we give the offering and the tithe, we drink one or two communion, then we come back home. If it's evangelism, you just have to hold like some placard. You don't want to go and preach to the Muslim, you don't want to go and preach to the Buddhist, but you're okay with the placard. Jesus says who? Is it you or is it me? Like on a more serious note, but like it's a very comfort level thing. We can also relate it to like our careers, we can relate it to our personal life. So it really struck me because me being a queen of comfort, like we are not effective unless stretched. Then also like I think one thing also about me is that I'm able to wait till the last part of the period to do an exam. Like, like we have an exam. Let's say most students can wait till last minute, then study and still pass. So looking at this, like the reason why sometimes it works is that it's because under pressure you are still able to, it's more like you've stretched yourself. Like I'm just thinking about that means that under that circumstance, you're able to cover what you should have covered something during the whole semester. It may be a week. Because that moment you stretched yourself, maybe you learned 10 hours in a day or 8 hours. Why don't we make that like our habit to stretch ourselves in everything? If like you are pursuing a career, you are in terms of leadership, because the book also points us towards the goal of leadership. So in terms of career, in terms of leadership, in terms of anything you are starting, business like you are starting, we should stretch ourselves like from the beginning to the end, and that's how we can become effective. Then I think to wrap up, it said that if you are not stretching in your own personal walk with God and in your leadership abilities, then you are not going to be as effective for God as you really need to be, like I explained early on. Then it also says that there is no such thing as a self-made person. So sometimes like
Yeah.
I think when I'm looking at somebody like lately, I've been thinking so much about Elon Musk. I think was it like 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, my pastor projected they going to space. Like, but why will a human being just be there and be concerned about what's in space? Like, I really don't care, honestly. I don't care what's there. It's the I've never been bothered. Even if it's like a free flight there. I mean, I won't say that next time if he asks me, I wouldn't go. But like at the moment, I don't have interest in going. And I'm thinking that is it because I'm not curious about what's there? Like I'm happy about life on Earth here. Let's keep moving. Like let's keep moving on Earth. Let's keep the flights and all that. But I would think I don't know his background, but I would think he's just super genius. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg, like super genius. But from the book, I think they were not like that, like from childhood. They might have
Mm.
undergone like some form of internal training, personal training, where we did not see, we only saw the output. So even as a
Yeah.
person or as individuals, we should be encouraged to meet that standard of excellence. It's like, let me say, for instance, there's a way I want to play the keyboard. I want to be able to do a lot of things, like but it's not here. Like when I hate it like this, I can play C comfortably, maybe C or G comfortably. But people play a lot of things. The difference between myself and those people is those people have practiced. They were not self-made. They were not like nobody knew keyboard from childhood, right? But
They
it's like
work towards it.
yes, they went on to practice. So now it's more like a challenge to myself right now that nobody is a self-made person. When I see somebody who is excellent, I will appreciate. But now I have to believe in myself that I can also do it if I put in the work. Whatever I have to do, I'm not looking out for average. I'm looking out for the excellent thing. And that's why we did the poll at the beginning of the meeting. That what's really stopping you from becoming what you want to be? Maybe you want to be a tech guru. Maybe you want to become an accountant. Like, what is preventing you from becoming it? And most of the time, it's fear. And sometimes it's doubt that, oh, you can never be that good. That one is for the quote unquote, maybe the Indians. Maybe it's for the Asians because they know IT and all that.
Yeah, man.
Who knows? What if I was really excellent by now? The moment TikTok went off, I would have replaced it immediately. Like something like that. But like, I think that personally it has challenged me to be better and know that, okay, if you don't know something today, it doesn't mean that you cannot know it tomorrow. Just put in the work and be better. Then closing remark, whatever I wish to become, let's say for instance, a keyboard expert, I need to stretch my ability. And I just took my own notes. Leave that comfort zone, Ruby. Success is due to our stretching to the challenges of life, and failures come when we shrink from them. So that means challenges will come. That means that whoever it is, let's say maybe Elon Musk, although he was trying, there were times that he was going through challenges, like getting obstacles, but he kept pushing. So when I see challenges, it's not like maybe you're playing the keyboard and maybe your ring finger hits the black keys when it's not supposed to, then you don't know, maybe you wanted to move from do to re, then it start mixing. I had to be practicing till people laugh at me that my keyboard is a toy keyboard because it's tiny. But I had to be practicing unless I get the original. Maybe it might be this year's birthday gift from somebody watching me. So thank you very much in advance. Then failure comes when we shrink away from challenges. So now, closing remark, we must embrace challenges, and nobody is born like ready. Let me quote the right term. Nobody is self-made, like already made coming. So if you're enjoying the excerpt from today's book, Be All You Can Be Without Limitations by John C. Maxwell, then join us next week. On our Instagram page, definitely there's in our highlights, it says join the Telegram page. Just click on that link, join the Telegram page, and you could have access to the book. You can also get the book also from Amazon, Be All You Can Be by John C. Maxwell, and buy it there. Until then, we'd like to see you next week for our book reading. Don't forget, it's chapter 5 and 6. So see you all next week. And if you're watching this a time to also like our video, we would like to see you for our next week's book reading. So don't forget, Spirit Heart Works, whatever you see is what you become. So be mindful of what you keep seeing. All right. That no, we'll see you next week. So bye. Let's give them a bye before we
Bye.
continue our prayer meeting to close.